little disrespect for Bear Bachmeier, I think, when some rankings came out this week and he was behind a certain Utah quarterback that is just a bit better than him, according to, is it Bill Connolly that did this one?
Bill Connolly, yeah, man, dude, I love March. I love the offseason in college football.
All respect, I like Bill Connolly too. I feel bad that we're about to do this, but not that bad because I like BYU more. So it is what it is.
I don't understand how. Devon Dampier, you've heard of him. He finished 10th in the Big 12 in passing yards this year. That is that's not even middle of the pack. It's behind the 8 ball, behind the punch in the Big 12 Conference. Bear Bachmeier finished 6th in the Big 12 Conference, throwing the football from a yardage, not even from a yardage standpoint, 5th in the Big 12 overall in this year as far as metrics go. Bear Bachmeier was 4th in total passing yards, above Brendan Sorsby. Wait a second, what? Bear Bachmeier threw for more yards than Brendan Sorsby, the illustrious Texas Tech quarterback? Yes. Sorsby had 27 touchdown passes to Bachmeier's 15, so I get it for sure. Brendan Sorsby was more dynamic with his arm, but oh, by the way, Devon Dampier, 10th in the league in passing yards to Bear Bachmeier, who was 4th. And Devon Dampier had this season, TJ, from a passing touchdowns standpoint, 24, far more than Bear Bachmeier. But the dynamics, and I'm not going to say that Devon Dampier is a guy who's just going to sit there and take a beating and not run the football. He is dynamic with his legs, certainly as well, but they run in different ways, him and Bear Bachmeier. And the fact that ESPN has Bachmeier below Dampier in their quarterback rankings next season, and both of those guys ranked below Gunnerstock, there's a bigger conversation about Jaden Mayava and Brendan Sorsby, Byram Brown, Darian Mensah being ranked above Dampier and Bachmeier. But a crazy thing to think, we've got Devon Dampier, per ESPN, the 12th best QB in college football. Josh Hoover, the TCU kid who went to Indiana, at 13th. Sam Levitt at 14, and Bear Bachmeier at 15. It's ruffling a lot of feathers in the Beehive State to see Bachmeier behind Dampier in these preseason conversations. Oh, and by the way, this is the same Bachmeier that could not buy himself freshman of the year in college football. He lost it out to that Cal kid that I couldn't even name for you anymore. Again, this points back to lack of respect for the Big 12 for both of those QBs, and a specific lack of respect for BYU, and a love for Utah. The national media really likes Utah.
Always has.
Yeah, dog. Like Utah lost some of its best talent going into next year. I think they'll compete in the Big 12. They'll finish 6th or 7th in the conference, and yet the national media wants to put them in the top 20 in the preseason AP poll. They'll likely end up with the top 25, despite losing their head coach and a lot of major contenders and their offensive coordinator. But we love Utah, and we hate BYU nationally, and we specifically want to make sure that Bear Bachmeier is not above Devon Dampier.
Dampier made a good jump from last year, going from New Mexico State to Utah. Had a good year, not taking anything away from that at all. It was, now he redshirted the first year, but it was his 3rd year in college football. Obviously going into his 4th year now, he'll be a junior. The biggest jump that we see from quarterbacks, and I know this is projecting some, and analytics and stuff are not necessarily meant to project what's coming up for the 2026 year. It's more of a snapshot of where they think they are right now. The biggest jump that we see quarterbacks make across their career is from year 1 to year 2. And we all talked about this. I don't know if it was exactly a year ago. I don't remember when all the stuff with Jake happened and we were talking about that. But we all wondered, like, who the heck's their quarterback going to be? We had a true freshman step in and lead this BYU squad to incredible performances, with their only 2 losses coming against a top 4 team, a top 4 seeded team in the playoffs. And we're not expecting that kid to make a jump from year 1 to year 2 in seeing what he already looked like in year 1 as a true freshman. To me, that's the biggest thing. And I know the specific metric analytic is not projecting out the kind of year that we think they could have. But that's where I look at it and I say, man, that's where I'm giving the kid that was a true freshman last year and put up the numbers that he put up and the performances he put up. That's where I'm giving him a slight edge on this. That's nothing against Dampier. That's nothing against Utah. That's not like pro BYU homerism coming out. It's just like, no, dude, I watched the games last year. I understand the context of the sport and what a true freshman did versus a guy in his 3rd year did. And That to me is the biggest tell on this is, yeah, man, the national media really likes Utah and has always really liked Utah. I remember back in, 2012, 2013 when they were competing in Rose Bowls and things. Yeah, like they were fun, and those were great teams that were a lot of fun to watch. I don't know that I understand why that continues on, especially seeing what BYU's won 23 games in the last 2 years. It's a little interesting to me to see this ranking the way that it is, but maybe not all that surprising.
I don't think I'm surprised by this in the slightest. This is what we've become accustomed to and gotten used to in college football coverage. It's the lack of respect for, again, the Big 12 and more specifically BYU. TJ, few schools in America have won more games the last 2 seasons than BYU after winning double digits in both 2024 and 2025. And no one cares. No one's talking about it. That's a problem. They are one of the best programs in the country. They just don't get love. They don't get attention. They don't get a fair shake from the haves of this sport. And man, at some level, I am tired of having to have the same conversation every week and feel like no one's listening. No one's paying attention to this, that they can have the best freshman quarterback far and away statistically in college football, and he still can't win freshman of the year. They can have one of the best defenses in college football and yet still get no respect because, it's the Big 12 and defense is shoddy in the Big 12. Like, no. How could you say in the same breath that Utah is a great defense, Texas Tech's a great defense, that's why they're highly ranked, but BYU plays in the Big 12 where they don't do defense, so we can't rank them highly? How is that the conversation that we're having on the 4 letters right now? It has become incredibly frustrating. And look, yeah, it's a great debate. It's a really strong debate about whether or not you take Devon Dampier or Bear Bachmeier, and their age factors into that as well. But I don't think either of them should be below Darian Mensah or Byram Brown. I don't think either of them should be below Brennan Sorsby, even given how Sorsby petered out and fell apart toward the end of the year. And I'd say Bachmeier and Dampier, though different runners from Sorsby, are both more dynamic with their legs. This is just another example of kind of hating the little man in college football, and we have designated BYU to be the little man. I didn't, but somebody did, and I'm not sure who they wronged, who they scorned, but BYU can get no love from the national media, and luckily, TJ, you and I exist.
Drake, where can people follow you? Where can they find more of these takes, BYU coverage, and national media hate?
Yeah, you can even find Utah coverage over at Locked On Big 12. It's a free and available wherever you find your podcasts, as well as on YouTube, or at Drake C. Toll Show on Twitter as well, 6 to 9 a.m. every day on Westwood One.
Appreciate you, bud.
Always, TJ.